It is the year 657. 90,000 men stood face to face on the plain of Siffin. Beside them, the Euphrates, about to run red. Men who prayed shoulder to shoulder yesterday now faced each other with swords. Two soldiers stepped forward for a duel and recognized each other as brothers. They embraced in tears and walked away. And pages of the Qur'an were raised on the tips of spears. "Let the book of Allah judge between us," the cry echoed across the field. But what led two armies of the faithful here? This is the story history still can't agree on. Year 602, Mecca. The sun of Islam had not yet risen. Tribal loyalty stood above all, and into this world a boy was born. His father controlled the city's great trade caravans. His mother was known for her sharp will among Meccan nobility. He grew up like a prince. Power, prestige, and politics his everyday world. Then came an announcement that would divide the city. His father became a leading voice against the new faith. At the Battle of Badr, he stood among Quraysh's commanders. After the battle, he became the city's de facto leader. As a young man, Muawiya stood beside his father against Islam itself. But history never moves in a straight line. After a treaty, the resistance of Quraysh slowly began to collapse. Year 630, 10,000 men marched on Mecca, and among them walked Muawiya, once its fiercest opponent. "Today is the day of mercy," the messenger declared, and a city braced for revenge was spared instead. That day, Abu Sufyan, once Islam's fiercest enemy, accepted the faith. So did Hind, his wife, who had once mutilated the dead at Uhud in grief and rage. And beside them stood young Muawiya, once a soldier against Islam, now declaring his own faith. Some historians say Muawiya had believed in secret for years, hiding his faith even from his own father. From that day forward, Muawiya's life would take a completely different path, one no one could have predicted. Within a short time, Muawiya became one of the messenger's closest and most trusted companions. He was chosen as a scribe of revelation, one of the few trusted to write the Qur'an's words. This was no ordinary task. Among thousands of companions, only a handful were ever trusted with this pen. Through his sister Habiba, Muawiya became a brother-in-law to the messenger himself. At the Battle of Hunayn, Muawiya stood among the Mu'allafat al-Qulub, hearts newly won over to the faith. Muawiya received camels and silver, his share of the spoils, a young man's fortune, rebuilt from nothing. One day, a young Ibn Abbas was sent running to call Muawiya, a simple errand about to become legend. 3 times, Ibn Abbas returned with the same answer: "Muawiya is eating." "May Allah never satisfy his stomach," the messenger said, words that would echo for centuries. Scholars explain, a supplication made without real cause becomes, by Allah's mercy, a blessing instead. "I am only human," the messenger once explained. "I become pleased and angry, as people do." Another prayer followed. "O Allah, guide people through him," a very different kind of legacy. And this advice given directly to Muawiya: "If you rule, fear Allah and govern with justice." At that time, no one knew this quiet young scribe would one day rule an empire. Then came the passing of the messenger, and for the Ummah, an unimaginable new chapter began. Muawiya joined the army marching to conquer Syria, the beginning of a new life entirely. Alongside his brother Yazid ibn Abi Sufyan, it was the start of a long military career. The Syrian front was among the hardest. Muslim armies against the full might of the Byzantine Empire. He served as deputy commander and quickly earned a reputation as one of Islam's sharpest military minds. Under the second caliph, Umar, Muawiya was appointed governor of Jordan, his first taste of real power. The following year, at only 35, Muawiya became governor of Damascus, a city he would rule for decades. For centuries, Damascus had worn the shape of Byzantine rule, now Muawiyah's alone to govern. Muawiya built strong ties with tribal leaders, especially the powerful Kalb, a bond that would shape his rule. From nothing, he built a loyal, disciplined army, the foundation of everything that came after. One day, Caliph Umar himself came to Damascus to see with his own eyes how Muawiya ruled. Umar found Muawiya dressed with the dignity and the pomp of a king. "I face the Byzantine frontier," Muawiya explained. "Strength here is necessity, not vanity." Umar accepted the answer and left Muawiya in his post, a quiet vote of confidence. Muawiya began capturing the coastal cities along the Mediterranean, and with them, something unexpected. In captured Byzantine shipyards, Muawiya saw the seed of something no Muslim ruler had built before. Under the third caliph, Uthman, Muawiya's authority grew further still, a governor becoming something more. Jordan, Homs, Hama, Palestine, Damascus, Latakia, all united now under a single hand. With my tongue, I achieved more than the sword ever could, Muawiya was known to say. But his greatest achievement had not yet been written. The sea itself was waiting. The Byzantine navy still ruled the eastern Mediterranean completely unchallenged, for now. Muawiya convinced Caliph Uthman to approve something no one had dared attempt before, a fleet of their own. Ships rose along the coasts of Syria and Egypt, a navy being born from nothing at all. Spring 649. For the first time in history, Muslims sailed to war by sea. Their target? The island of Cyprus, a naval test unlike anything attempted before. Respected companions like Abu Dar al-Ghifari sailed among them into a new kind of jihad. The campaign ended without major bloodshed, a tribute agreed instead, and Muawiya's reputation grew. 5 years later, a second Muawiya-led force secured Cyprus for good, this time to stay. The first army of my Ummah to fight by sea has already earned paradise, the messenger once foretold. After Cyprus, Muawiya's navy took Rhodes, then the stubborn fortress island of Arwad. In 655, off the coast of Lycia, the fleets met in the greatest naval battle yet fought. Even with the Byzantine emperor's own son commanding, his fleet was completely crushed. A governor from the dusty frontier had turned his people into a genuine power of the sea. But amid these victories at sea, another storm was rising far away in Medina. New wealth, new policies, and growing dissatisfaction stirred unrest across the heart of the empire. Muawiya continued to govern Syria with stability, distant from the chaos gripping the capital. Then the crisis exploded. Rebels surrounded the caliph's own home, demanding answers he could not give. For days, the elderly Caliph Uthman was besieged in his own home, refusing to raise a sword. He was martyred while reciting the very words he himself had preserved for every Muslim after him. The news reached Damascus within days and shook the entire Muslim world to its core. Uthman, known as Dhun Nurayn, the possessor of two lights, was gone, and with him, an era. In Medina, the companions turned to Ali ibn Abi Talib, one of the earliest believers of all. Ali had fought in every battle since Badr. Now at last he would lead the Ummah himself. But one question remained unanswered. Who had murdered Uthman, and how would justice come? Ali believed unity had to come first. Rushed justice, he feared, would only tear the Ummah apart. But in Damascus, Muawiya believed differently. For him, justice could not wait even a day. As Uthman's own kinsman, Muawiya demanded the killers face justice before anything else could proceed. In the mosque of Damascus, Uthman's own blood-stained shirt was raised before the silent people. Beside it, his wife Naila's wounded hand, a suffering made visible to every eye present. These images stirred anger through every corner of Syria, a fury Muawiya did not create, but shared. Delegations from Medina tried to calm the storm, but by now, it could not be stopped. Far away, near Basra, another crisis broke out, one neither Ali nor his opponents truly wanted. Companions who had once migrated and fought side by side now stood across the field as enemies. When it ended, Ali grieved deeply for Talha and Zubair, men he had once called brothers. He treated Aisha, the messenger's peace be upon him beloved wife, with the greatest respect and sent her safely home. Scholars insist, no side acted with evil intent. Each followed its own sincere judgment. Ali moved his capital from Medina to Kufa, closer to the armies he would soon need. Ali sent Jarir ibn Abdullah to Damascus. I am the rightful caliph. Pledge your allegiance. For 4 months, Muawiya gave no answer, only watched Damascus and waited patiently. He saw that his people still burned for justice, a fire he could not simply ignore. He would not give his pledge, not yet, not without answers. A second envoy came from Kufa. This time, Muawiya's answer was unmistakably clear. Before Ali asks anything of me, let him first find the killers of Uthman. diplomacy had reached its end. Both sides began, reluctantly, to gather their armies. Their meeting place, a plain beside the Euphrates, a name that would echo through history, Siffin. By May of the year 657, two great armies stood face to face once again. At first, only small clashes broke out, then brief, fragile ceasefires, again and again. Ali sent envoy after envoy, hoping desperately to prevent further Muslim bloodshed. But the demand for justice would not be abandoned, no matter how many envoys came. During this sacred month of Muharram, a ceasefire held, both sides weary of what was coming. When the ceasefire ended, the fighting returned with even greater fury than before. Among the earliest believers stood Ammar ibn Yasir, whose death had long ago been foretold. He fell that day on the Syrian side of the field, exactly as it had been foretold. If his killers were called rebellious, what did that mean for the army that killed him? Ali himself later clarified, "We fought them as brothers, not as disbelievers." Both sides shared the same qibla. This was ijtihad, not a war over belief itself. As the battle raged on, Ali's army began to gain the decisive upper hand. The Syrian ranks came dangerously close to total collapse, Muawiya's cause hanging by a thread. Then, the pages of the Qur'an rose again, this time on Amr ibn al-As's orders. Voices rose among Ali's own soldiers. "Let us answer the call to the Book of Allah." Ali warned his men plainly. This was clever strategy, not sincere devotion. But under pressure from his own soldiers, Ali reluctantly accepted arbitration all the same. Each side would choose one representative, a single man to decide history's course. Ali wanted skilled negotiators, but his own army insisted on Abu Musa, cautious and pious instead. Syria chose Amr ibn al-As, their most brilliant statesman, the conqueror of Egypt himself. Both sides agreed, judge only by the Book of Allah, and the Prophet's peace be upon him example. The fighting stopped. Both armies withdrew, but nothing had truly been settled yet. What happened next is remembered very differently across the entire historical record. By the most common account, both Ali and Muawiya were meant to step down together. Abu Musa spoke first, and to the crowd's shock, removed Ali from power. Then Amr stood and confirmed Muawiya as caliph instead, keeping his own side's leader in place. The result was not resolution, but greater confusion, and a deeper division than before. A group broke away entirely, rejecting arbitration. Judgment, they insisted, belongs to Allah alone. The caliph now faced enemies on two fronts, Syria ahead and his own former soldiers behind. While Ali fought a rebellion within his own ranks, Muawiya quietly gained precious time. At Nahrawan, Ali met the rebels directly and defeated them decisively, though at heavy cost. But that victory came at a terrible price, one that would soon reach Ali himself. 3 survivors made a chilling pact, 3 leaders, 3 cities, all struck on one single night. The first assassin struck the wrong man entirely. His true target had fallen ill that day. The second assassin's blade wounded Muawiya, but did not manage to kill him. The third assassin reached Kufa, and tragically, did not fail in his purpose. On the 17th of Ramadan, as he walked to prayer, the poisoned blade struck Ali. "By the Lord of the Kaaba," Ali said quietly, "I have succeeded." The martyrdom of the 4th caliph remains one of Islam's deepest and most enduring sorrows. Ali and Muawiya each believed he stood on truth, according to his own sincere judgment. In Kufa, Ali's son Hasan was declared the new leader of the Muslim world. But Hasan would choose a very different path than his father had walked before him. He saw that many who claimed loyalty were quietly pursuing their own separate agendas. Facing more bloodshed, Hasan chose the unity of the Ummah over his own throne. It fulfilled words once spoken by the messenger. Perhaps Allah will bring peace through him. Year 41, known as al-Jama'ah, the Islamic State was united once more. Muawiya ibn Abi Sufyan was now recognized as caliph over the entire Muslim Ummah. Great scholars like Ibn Taymiyyah would later call him the best of this Ummah's kings. His rule was remembered not as tyranny, but as a genuine kingdom of mercy. The caliphate will last 30 years, the messenger, peace be upon him, foretold, and the count matched exactly. Now Muawiya faced a new task entirely, rebuilding a nation torn apart by years of war. New offices rose under Muawiya, for correspondence, for security, for the caliph's own protection. Muawiya became the first caliph to keep a permanent personal guard after 2 assassination attempts. His new postal network, the Diwan al-Barid, let information race across the entire empire. He balanced power carefully, never leaning only on his own clan for support. Under his rule, Muslim territory reached toward India and further still across North Africa. A new city, Kairouan, rose as a base for the conquest of the Maghrib. Fleets sailed against the great Byzantine capital itself, again and again, without final success. He is strong and trustworthy, one narration recalls. Keep Muawiya close in your affairs. In his final years, Muawiya made his most debated decision, naming his own son, Yazid, successor. Hussein and Ibn al-Zubayr strongly opposed a throne passed down like simple inheritance. Muawiya would go on to narrate over 160 hadiths from the messenger. Muawiya passed away in Damascus at 78, after 40 years in service of the state. We will remove the resentment from their hearts, and they will be brothers, says the Qur'an. Our task today is to study this history fairly, honoring every companion, without hero or villain.